What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here for the Monday version of the weekly sports card market update. I am fresh off a Father's Day picnic, which was right after being in the car all day. Happy belated Father's Day to everyone out there who celebrated. But yes, I was in Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina all weekend. Was at the show all day Friday, all day Saturday. Had a fantastic time. I'll be doing a pickups recap video and stuff on that later this week. But was in the car all day today for 7 hours, coming home, and then went straight to my parents to hang out with them for a little bit for the Father's Day. And we are home recording late Sunday night. So I am beat. Couple days at a show, walking around those show floor, man, just whoops my butt. Got to hang out with Dustin, personal finance dad, sports card dad, whatever the hell he goes by these days, at the show on Saturday afternoon for a little bit. Got to hang out with Fausto, aka Sketch, from the old CGC and the Marvel Card, former host of the Marvel Card Collectors podcast on Friday. Ran into a couple of viewers of the channel. Shout out to the few of you that stopped by and said hello as I was roaming the show floor on Friday and Saturday. You know who you are. But overall, I had a really good time. Tons of pickups. If you follow me on the old socials, you saw all the different stuff that I was purchasing. It is interesting doing large Comic Cons and comparing them to larger card shows and the similarities and differences between those two. Even if you're not a comic guy, if a decent sized Comic Con comes to town, I would recommend checking it out. Like something like this Heroes Con, or even something a little bit smaller. But if a decent sized Comic Con rolls through, it's a fun time. My wife really likes going. She doesn't really buy comics that much, but she likes all the nerd culture stuff. So we had a great time. It was a great weekend. Got home just in time for Father's Day stuff, so it was all good. But we are a day late on the weekly sports card market update. News heavy today. Not a lot of charts and graphs, just because of the late hour that I am recording this. First up on the news front, CSG/CGC is teasing something for this coming Tuesday, aka tomorrow, when you are all watching this. I'm not sure when this is going to get announced, whatever it is, but I will probably just hold off on doing a video in the morning and wait to see whatever they got. So probably no video up first thing in the morning unless their announcement goes up first thing in the morning, and then I'll try to get something recorded. Curious for your guesses in the comments down below. What do you think they got popping off on Tuesday? Like I said, I've been saying for a while, actually, the National, which we'll talk about here in a minute, is only about 6 weeks away. I feel like we are going to get a lot of newsy-like announcements over the next few weeks. Some will probably be bigger deals than others. At minimum, we're probably going to get pricing specials for grading on site at the National. And then if anyone's got anything up their sleeve, this is the time that you're probably going to announce it, either in the lead up or right before the National, or launch it at the National. So we're probably going to be in a busier news section of the world, if I had to guess. So fire away your guesses down below. What you think CSG/CGC has cooking for us on Tuesday. Next up, one that I missed, kind of slipped through the cracks on me. Sports Collectors Daily was the first one, I believe, to post this, and then a few different people have done some follow-up videos to this since the story came out. But some details have emerged from the Panini break-in from a couple of weeks ago. I'd recommend going to check out this article on Sports Collectors Daily. They kind of give a little bit of a rundown for everything that was taken, but a couple $100,000 in property loss and damages. It sounds like it was mostly servers. As Dan the Cardbrand said in his video, if you have an account on Panini and you have not changed your password, you probably want to. And if you have that password used on any other websites, you might want to. Panini has yet to say anything to the best of my knowledge on this in regards to what has happened. I'm guessing they'll probably stand behind our investigation is ongoing. Once it's complete, we will update you. And at that point in time, your stuff's been all over the internet, assuming they got data. I'm assuming that they got data. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. It will be intriguing to see if, maybe they got some information that they're not supposed to have. I know, like, some people were speculating on maybe they got print runs. Maybe they got what the code breakdown is for the boxes to know where the hits are. There's all sorts of juicy stuff that could be on a Panini server that has absolutely nothing to do with customer data. there's definitely some fun things that could be out there. Imagine doing the print runs of all their products, or all the print runs of all the products that are going to come out in the next couple of years. Any of that sort of stuff. Lots of fun stuff could be had on there. Imagine having the cheat code for the stickers and knowing which boxes has the case hits in it for a particular product or products. If that's something that could be gleaned from their data, who knows? But long story short, update your stuff. Don't use the same password on every site. Pretty obvious stuff, but just good to keep in mind and throw that out there. eBay, we talked about this in a video on Thursday. I recorded that as I was literally running out the door to get on the road to Charlotte. eBay has cracked down on breaking. I think I'm going to end up doing a full follow-up video to this week sometime, because I have some additional thoughts that I'd like to kind of throw in there in a little bit of a longer form. But kind of some things that have come out since I recorded that video on Tuesday. I got multiple DMs and things have been kind of floating around. It sounds like if you were approved, you've actually known about this for a hot minute. At least some people. According to some things that were shared with me, that at least a handful of people that were in the know that they were getting approved for this have known for a while and had to sign NDAs for it. I don't know anyone that has recently got approved, at least as of time of recording. I did reach out to one of my breaker friends locally here that I know that they have pretty much their own community, but they use eBay as like a, hey, we haven't filled these teams yet, let's just throw them up on the bay. And they are in limbo right now, and they are a pretty decent operation. So it will be interesting to see how this all shakes out. I know a few smaller breakers posted in the comment section of that video and also replied to me on Twitter saying that they've been breaking on eBay for years, have good feedback, never had any bad experiences or issues, and they're just gone. Done. That's it. No appeal, no application process, no nothing. So it sounds like eBay wants to be the gatekeepers of the breaking industry and form a iron ring around breaking on their platform, because that works out well every time people try to do stuff like that. So we'll see what ends up happening and how this all shakes out. Like I said, I kind of have some additional thoughts that I kind of want to throw into a video on this about why now on this and why this might be happening. And maybe this is a sneak peek at kind of something that's coming later down the road. But we'll get to that later this week. Like I said, Dustin and I had a long discussion about this, walking around and sitting outside on the benches at the Charlotte Convention Center, kind of talking about this eBay news. And just as we were kind of talking through it, some theories were kind of popping into my head. But like I said, we'll do a separate video on that later in the week. But it really sucks for people that weren't really doing anything wrong. And like I said, maybe eBay has legitimate reasons for this whole thing. That's kind of what I want to chat about. But if you were affected by this, once again, feel free to reach out in the comments down below. If you get any follow-up information in regards to application processes, or you've been denied or anything like that, feel free to share it. Like I said, I've had some conversations with some people already since that video came out. So, and this is also a good reminder. I think Dustin talked about this in his video. You know, if you are heavily reliant on a platform for the complete and total operation of your business, that's a potential weakness. Make sure that you are setting other things up and expanding beyond that. You know, it's some of the stuff Sports Card Radio was talking about in their video on this. You know, if you have a customer base, make sure that you have a way to get a hold of them outside of whatever platform that you're on. You know, I know myself, you know, my primary method of communication is YouTube. You know, the YouTube videos are the bulk of what gets all the views and traction and kind of how I communicate to my audience. But over the years, you know, I have a Twitter account. I have an Instagram account. I have a Discord. There are ways that I could reach out to at least a small portion of my audience, or a portion of my audience, to get the word out if something would ever happen. When you are reliant on these mega corporations, this is what they can do. They could just come in and change things, and that's it. And you're either stuck dealing with it, or maybe you get booted off the platform, something weird happens. I've heard some horror stories about content creators, like something weird happens in the background and all of a sudden they're locked out of their YouTube channel, and it's a nightmare to try to get a hold of someone over there. And it's just brutal because it's just all red tape and you can't get to like actual people. And if things like that happen at any of these companies, just all of a sudden you went from this is either a large side hustle or a business and maybe how you support your family. And then because someone shifts a policy on something, all of a sudden the next day you're looking around going, what the hell just happened? So just make sure that, if you have been doing breaks, or if you are doing breaks, or just anything like this at all, have a way to contact your customers beyond through whatever platform it is that you primarily do that on. Maybe it's an email newsletter, maybe it's social media, multiple social media channels, whatever the case might be. Build that out to CYA yourself, that if something would happen, that you have a way to communicate to at minimum your core audience, the core people that enjoy whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's content, a business, a product, whatever, are going to follow you on multiple platforms where it makes sense for them to do that. That's going to be your most hardcore audience. So if something happens that you have to shift gears, shift platforms, post something somewhere else, whatever, you have a method to reach those people beyond the platform. Because eBay, there's not really a great way to build a community on eBay. Someone can save your store or whatever, sure, but it's not the easiest thing to do to build a community around an eBay storefront page, basically. So make sure that you're going above and beyond that in whatever it is that you're doing. Don't be reliant on the mega corp to always be there for you, or the fact that they could just change policy one day and all of a sudden the way everything worked and the way that worked for you just isn't there, isn't viable anymore. That can 100% happen. 100%. Just our weekly reminder, the National is like 6 weeks away now. I think 5.5, 6 weeks, 6.5 weeks. It's creeping up real quick. Real quick. I need to start getting into evaluation mode for the National. I wanted to get through Heroes Con and see what I came out of there with, both from a haul perspective and what I had left over for cash. And I am still actively selling some stuff on eBay to once again free up money for the National. And then I got to figure out a plan of attack. What do I want to go after? Am I going in with a plan? Am I going in just fast and loose? I don't know yet. I have some ideas bandying around, or at least a short list of things that I may be looking for. And if I stumble across them, cool. If not, also cool. But regardless, it'll be a good time. As I've talked about before, I feel like I could attend the National and do very little in the way of pickups or cards or trades or whatever, and still have an absolutely fantastic time, because I get to hang out with friends. I get to make new friends. I get to hang out with old friends. I get to see old frenemies, whatever the case might be. Business people, contacts, whatever, gossip, all of it. It's just a fantastic time. And I'm excited because this will be the first time that I'll be in there on Wednesday on site. I'm going for the extra day this year, the Wednesday through Sunday, though usually by Sunday it's just get up and come home. But just a reminder, National is fast approaching. You should be finalizing your plans for that if you have not already. I think it's the people to ask, like, what's the best days to go and stuff. If you're just looking to get in and get out and not have like a absolutely insane experience, stay off of Saturday. I always thought Thursday was kind of my favorite day at the National. Everyone's still kind of fresh. Everything hasn't been completely picked over. Dealers might be a little tighter on pricing because they haven't gotten through the weekend yet. And I haven't done the whole, someone can let me know in the comments down below. I've never gone into the show on Sunday. Do you actually get really good deals on Sunday? I've heard some people say yes and some people say no. I'm sure your mileage varies depending on the person. But is Sunday like, are people really blowing stuff out because they don't want to take it home with them, maybe wax or whatever the case might be? If you have really good success getting steals of deals on Sunday, feel free to throw that in the comments down below for myself and the viewing audience's information. Let's go ahead and pop in the market movers. Link in the description down below as always. If you want to try market movers out, the first 2 weeks are free, and then you get 20% off for life. So whatever plan you end up signing up with, whether it's an annual or a monthly, you get 20% off that plan for as long as you stay with market movers. And this also counts if you are returning the market movers. Maybe you used it and went away, and now you're back. One of the best promotions they have ran on the platform since I have been using the product, and I have been using the product for a very long time now. First up, a little post NBA championship price movements. I wanted to check in on Jamal Murray and the Joker. Looking back 8 days, so from right before the title through today, just to kind of see how prices have swung since the actual crowning achievement. And as you can see, a little bit of a mixed bag. Now, some of this is things haven't sold as much as or as later into the week. But the big one is the Joker base Prism is down 24%. You can see it kind of dipping back down as the market has kind of gotten flooded with them. 29 of those have sold in the last 8 days. That's down 24%. The Silver Prism has stayed flat. And then Jamal Murray, his Silver Prism is down 24%, while his base Prism is up 17%. Now, on the Silver Prism, one has not sold since the 12th, so it has been a couple days since that. I could tell you, because I went and looked, the last one sold on the 12th at $500. There are ones currently sitting on eBay at $499, best offer, buy it now, that have not sold. So even though that's at $500, the next one to sell might be a little bit less than that. So the standard issue thing is happening here that we typically see happen. The player wins the title and then a bunch of their cards hit the market. Now, if you have something super rare, flawless patches, NT, RPAs, 101s, whatever, some low numbered serial colored prism like the Joker light blue prism, I think is one of his best looking cards that he has. That's essentially his color match. It's a great looking card. If you're a big Joker collector, you probably want one of those in your collection to tuck away and just kind of look at. Like that one has not come back down yet. So that rare stuff that the market's not getting flooded with, that's a little bit of a different story. The more commonly transacted stuff, that more and more of it's out there that is going to hit the market just gets overpopulated with inventory, not enough demand, and prices slip a little bit. Not crash, but slip a little bit on these guys. We've talked about this a ton of times before. So we'll see what this looks like long term as we move throughout the summer. The NBA, we are getting into my favorite time of the year. We're actually already in it. At time of recording, Bradley Beal's already been traded. The NBA offseason is one of my favorite times of the year. I am a sucker. I've always been a sucker. Dating back to, I loved trade deadlines as a kid. I loved the MLB trade deadline growing up. I love the rumor mill of sports off seasons and silly seasons and transaction seasons, Woj bomb seasons, Schefter season, whatever the sport is. I love free agency maneuvers and trade deadlines. I don't know what it is. It's my favorite part in Madden and NBA 2K. I would just simulate seasons over and over and over again and just do all the off season and trade stuff and never actually play a game like versus the computer or another person. I would just play front office manager basically. So NBA offseason feels like it's going to be a wild one already. We have the Beal trade to the Suns. There's rumors out there about Karl Anthony Towns, Lillard, Hero, Zion potentially might be getting traded. Who knows? It sounds like it could be a wild NBA offseason. We'll have to see if that impacts prices if the snow globe gets shaken up on a lot of these guys. But should be a fun month or so here as we move into peak NBA silly season here in July. NBA drafts coming up, potentially crazy trade rumors around the NBA draft. It's great. It's absolutely great. I have Twitter notifications on for Woj and Shams, and it's just a fantastic time of year. My absolute chef's kiss favorite time on the NBA calendar. Let's pop over and look at baseball really quick. I just kind of wanted to do a fun little thought experiment here. I pulled up a couple of the big first Bowman cards from the last year. So this goes back 1 year. I have J-Rod, Ellie, Corbin Carroll, Jordan Walker, and Ronald Acuna Jr. I was just curious how these have all performed over the last year. Part of this is what kind of took me down this path, if you will, because sometimes I just kind of click around or I'm just looking at things and something catches my eye and then I'll be like, oh, what does this look like compared to this? And that's kind of what happened here. And what it was, I was looking at J-Rod's price of his first Bowman auto in addition to Ellie's first Bowman auto pricing. These are all PSA 10 base chromes. And I found it interesting that they have basically touched each other, if you will. What do I mean by that? If you look at the chart up here, the blue line is the J-Rod line. The light blue line is the Ellie line. And you can kind of see how big of a gap there was forever. And then as we come all the way over to the right-hand side, you can see right here, within the last couple weeks, they have basically crossed. J-Rod is technically still in the lead, but boy, oh boy, they got as close as you could get in a 6th grade dance. And then the rulers came out. We got J-Rod's down to 990 and Ellie's up to 890 in late May. And then you can see it's just barely clinging on. J-Rod's up to 1.2 and Ellie's just over 1K. And there's even been some J-Rod sales even a little bit lower than that, but they're essentially neck and neck right now. Ellie is this year's J-Rod. Everyone is losing their absolute mind for Ellie De La Cruz right now. I've talked to, because, Northeast Ohio, we still get a lot of Reds activity up here for a decent part. And a lot of local dealers that travel along the state. It's just Ellie this, Ellie that, Ellie this, Ellie that, all over the place. Especially down towards the Columbus area with his cards just absolutely flying. And he came out hot and then has immediately cooled off. I didn't look at it over the weekend. Maybe he picked back up a little bit, but he was having a very high strikeout rate other than like that first kind of couple days up. I also pulled up just kind of for comparison's sake. So over the last 1 year, if last summer you're like, let me get into some of these first Bowman prospect autos, I feel like these are going to be good investments. J-Rod is down 40%. Ellie De La Cruz, you're doing well on. He's up 110%. Corbin Carroll, another one, having a fantastic year, and his card prices seem cheap. $775 for his first Bowman. That's less than Ellie. He's a little bit older, but he's up 36% over the year. He could win Rookie of the Year and is in the running for MVP in the NL. That's how good of a year he is having. Jordan Walker's been on a yo-yo string this year. His stuff is down overall 37% from 1 year ago this time. He obviously got called up to start the season. Struggle bust, went down, is back up now. I think he's hitting a little bit better this time around, but his stuff is down quite a bit. And then kind of like almost like a baseline, I threw in Ronald Acuna, and he is down slightly, but his stuff actually took a pretty big hit. I'm going to remove some of these other ones here. We'll just look at Acuna by himself. Over the last year, you could see last summer, he was going for almost 3K to a little over 3K. And then this dipped all the way down to 1.5. We got a 2K even there, 2.5. We got another 1.6. And then you could see as the season has started, his stuff spiked right back up again. If you bought him, he is one of the few players of the established guys that if you bought in the off season, you're feeling pretty good about yourself right now because his stuff is up quite a bit. Like if we blow this back to 90 days and take us to March, you're up 60% on a lot of his cards. He's also probably in the short list for NL MVP, having an absolutely fantastic season so far, and his card prices have shot up. If you bought in the offseason, if you bought last summer and held, you're probably about flat to maybe slightly up, slightly down. Not much of a swing one way or the other. So always kind of interesting when you look at the different time frames on that stuff. We will go ahead and wrap it up there. No football this week. And like I said, just kind of touched on the lighter sports, a little bit heavier on the news front. Just with me traveling, I wanted to play catch up on some news stuff. So this is going up on Monday. So the Monday Sports Card Weekly Market Update instead of the Sunday. Tuesday, we'll just cover whatever the CSG/CGC news is that comes up. Once again, guesses for that in the comments down below. I will have a Heroes Con pickup video at some point in time this week. I have another stack of stuff that I could potentially do a mail day on. I am waiting for a couple things to come in. A lot of TCG stuff is going on in the world right now. I may end up doing a box on that. Lord of the Rings collector box craze is absolutely wild. The people are fiending for Pokemon 151 and the new Charizard set that's coming later this summer. Paldea Evolved just come out. No one really seems to care as they're just looking ahead to the next sets. All sorts of wild and crazy stuff in the TCG space. Maybe we'll do an updated video on that sometime later this week to just do a broad-based roundup of mostly TCG stuff. Maybe look at some wax prices and stuff on that. But that's all I got for you guys right now. If you're going to the National, hope you're getting ready for it. If you're not, you should try to get there. If you can't, it's cool too. You'll have a good time watching all the content from afar. We will catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.